Okay, so we are outside right now. I'm starting up the Woodcreek. We broke down that bottom round flat. We got 3 roasts out of it. So here's the roast. I'm going to actually add a little bit more salt. I did add a lot of salt, as you remember, but I just want to make sure it has a good coating before it goes on the grill, because like I said, a lot of it's going to burn off. And I'm going to roast this at 250. Let these take their time getting up to, I like medium rare, like 135. So what I'll cook them up to is probably about 127, 130. I'll stick a couple probes in a couple of these. These two are a little bit, wider. This one's a little bit thinner. So different shapes. I'll probably stick a probe in one, stick a probe in this, and then what I'll do is once they hit 130, I'll take them off and let them rest so they come up to a nice mid-rare, and then we'll slice them. So let me fire this up. I'll set it at 250. Just, all right, the auger's on, the igniter's on. So it shouldn't take too long for this to kick on. And once it does, we'll close the Woodcreek and let it heat up. I don't want to miss out on this smoke that's coming out of here right now, so I'm actually going to put the roasts on a little bit early. I'm going to keep them, fire pot's like the hottest part. This whole thing gets pretty hot though, so I'm just going to space these out, but keep them right about the mid-range of the smoker. I'm going to get some probes. I'm figuring this is going to take me a couple hours, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep one. I'm actually going to set these temps like I did before. I went into the program, found the beef, and I'm going to set one manual. To 125 on probe 2, and I'm going to set the other two a beef roast at 125. See how this works. Worked out well last time with the pork. So the roasts are they're still pretty rare and raw, but I also am going to put some potatoes on here over by the fire pot, because I'm going to try to do some smoked mashed potatoes, something I haven't tried yet, but I figure what the heck, nothing better than mashed potatoes and roast beef. So let's see how that goes. And probably towards the end of this, once I get up to about 110 on the roasts, I'll put some veggies on there too, just to get something so we have a nice little meal. The roasts right now, they're up to about 95 degrees each. Looking pretty good. Potatoes, I'm going to flip these. So I'm going to move the roast over to fire pot side. And I'm going to add some, this pan up here. So I'm just gonna, for the mashed potatoes, I'm just gonna get some butter melted and milk. I gotta keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't boil up, but my calculation, the butter content should be about 50%. to mashed potatoes. Sounds about right to me. I use unsalted butter so I can season things myself. It's up to you what you want to do. Use your favorite stuff. But these are looking really nice. They got some great, nice caramelization on the outside. They're getting a pretty good crust. Like I said, we're about, one's at 91, one's at 94. So, talking another 45 minutes or so. Which is right about on point with where the potatoes will be. Alright, so here we are. We're at about rare right at this point. We're at 123. Each one is at 122, 123 on the roasts. Roasts are looking really good. They're feeling just about rare. Potatoes should be ready in time. Butter and milk is melted. So I'm going to go get something to mash up these potatoes with, and these should be ready in the next 10-15 minutes. Alright, so the steaks, one's at 129, 130, and the other is at 135. So I am going to at 130. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, these potatoes still need a couple more minutes. That looks good. So I'm going to let these roasts rest. Say that 5 times fast. So I'm going to let these rest, come up to perfect mid-rare. I always lift things with my hands because I have no fear of flame, but that looks really nice, right? It's got a nice crust on it. And then we'll cut into it, see how that smokiness looks on it, but I love it. I think it looks great. If you remember when I butchered the bottom round flat, I actually I season these beforehand, so it's almost like, curing it a little bit or brining it a little bit. And then what we're going to do when we cut it, you can see the grains that we talked about before. I want to slice across that grain, so it's a little bit tougher of a meat, but it's still going to be a really nice roast. And then when we cut across that grain, it's going to make it easier to eat. It's going to be nice and chewy. It's a really lean piece of meat, so it doesn't have a ton of marbling, but you can see from these roasts, it's definitely bringing out some of the fat that's in there. So again, you want to find your grain and you want to slice across that grain. But let these rest, and by the time these are set, I should probably be able to mash those potatoes, and we'll have a nice little meal together. I'm going to actually do a salad. I wanted to keep this low. I would grill some vegetables, but I still want to keep it at the temperature that it's at, and let these potatoes finish so they get nice and smoky, and do a smoked mash, and we'll do a salad with this on the finish. All right, so the potatoes, they're looking ready. Pull this forward. I put these in. So this isn't a traditional mashed potato, just because I did them out here. It's going to be more like a smashed potato. Up to you how you like your things. If you want to do like mashed potatoes and no skins, like, you help yourself. Go for it. I'm just doing these. I don't have a masher, so I use my whisk. But these are gonna fall apart, be nice and smoky. They're gonna suck up all this flavor from the milk and the butter, salt. All that starch, butter, it's all combined up together. Make something wonderful. When I'm out here and I'm cooking, I tend to want to do everything in one place, not run back and forth to the kitchen. It's the beauty of having something, especially this size with this much space in it, is that I can make a bunch of dishes at the same time. in one place. So, might have thought I was crazy a minute ago when I started doing this, but now you can see that it's actually becoming a really nice rustic smashed potato. All the more reason to use a whisk instead of a masher is that I can fold the butter and the milk into the potatoes. The other great way to do this, if it's if you're lactose intolerance or not a big fan of dairy, olive oil, salt, pepper, real simple smashed potatoes, really nice. You don't have to heat them up. Heat up the butter and the milk, obviously. Just make sure you add enough olive oil to it to balance it. Alright. Pretty good. Do you have a sample spoon someplace? Make sure it's got enough salt, pepper. So, made up a little salad. Oops. Made up a little salad here. I'm going to put the mash on here, but I want to slice next. So I'm going to put this plate over on my cutting board. The reason why I rest these roasts over here is you can see the pooling. That's all this is obviously tilted at an angle. So you want to let these rest so that, when you cut into it, the blood doesn't shoot anywhere. You want to let it rest and set. So get over here. We can look at how we did. Actually want to go at, here's my grain, like I said. End piece. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that perfect ring in there. Obviously it's going to be a little more well on the outside, but you can see as we move into the middle here how that's a nice medium rare. Get into medium, into medium rare. Wow. So if you want to carve this whole thing as a Sunday roast, that's perfect. If you want to do something where, so you can do bigger pieces if you're carving it as a roast. If you want to slice it up real thin like this, and serve it as a roast beef sandwich. But I'm looking forward to how delicious this is. Oh my God. So good.